Lee Tae-ho walked through the long hallway of the Galactic Council building. His hands were shaking, but he tried to hide it. The walls around him were made of strange blue metal that seemed to glow from inside. Alien creatures moved past him, some floating, some walking on many legs. None of them looked at him. To them, he was nothing important. The human ambassador had been coming to this place for 3 years now. Every time he asked for better treatment for Earth, every time they said no. Today felt different, though. Today felt like the end of something. The council chamber was huge. It could hold 10,000 beings from across the galaxy. Most of the seats were filled with different alien species. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of living crystal. A few looked almost human, but with strange colors and extra arms. At the center of the room sat the High Council. These were the most powerful beings in the galaxy. They ruled over millions of worlds and billions of creatures. At their head was Velthar Keth, the council speaker. He was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. His eyes were completely black and never seemed to blink. Tae-ho walked to the small platform in the middle of the room. This was where beings came to speak to the council. It felt very small compared to everything around it. The platform was made to make the speaker feel weak and unimportant. It worked. Human Lee Tae-ho, Velthar Keth spoke. His voice came out of speakers all around the room. You have been called here to receive the final decision of the Galactic Council regarding your species. Tae-ho bowed his head slightly. Thank you, honored speaker. Earth is ready to hear your words. Some of the aliens in the audience made sounds that might have been laughter. Others just stared at him with cold eyes. Tae-ho had learned to read some alien expressions over the years. None of what he saw looked good. Velthar Keth stood up from his chair. All 4 of his arms moved as he spoke. The council has been very patient with your species. For 50 years we have allowed humans to exist in our galaxy. We have given you time to prove your worth. You have failed. The speaker's words echoed through the chamber. Tae-ho felt his heart start beating faster. Humans are weak. Velthar continued. You fight among yourselves. You destroy your own planet. You have no useful technology. You offer nothing to the galactic community except trouble. Tae-ho opened his mouth to speak, but the speaker held up one hand. Silence. The time for your words is over. The council has made its choice. Velthar Keth looked down at Tae-ho like he was looking at an insect. Humanity will provide workers for the galaxy. 80% of your population will be relocated to work planets. The remaining 20% will be moved to reservation worlds where they can be watched. The chamber became completely quiet. Even the floating creatures stopped moving. Tae-ho felt like the air had been sucked out of his lungs. You have 30 solar cycles to begin the transfer, the speaker said. Our collection fleets will arrive at Earth to help with the process. Anyone who refuses will be dealt with according to galactic law. Tae-ho found his voice. Honored speaker, please. This is not right. Humans are not animals to be moved around. We are intelligent beings. We have families, cultures, dreams. Silence. Velthar Keth's voice became loud and angry. You dare to argue with the council? Your species has been judged and found wanting. The decision is final. But we can contribute to the galaxy, Tae-ho said, his voice getting louder. Give us more time. Let us show you what humans can do. Several council members began making angry sounds. The speaker's black eyes seemed to get darker. What can humans do? Velthar Keth asked. Your fastest ships barely reach light speed. Your weapons are simple metal and explosives. Your computers are slower than a child's toy. You cannot even leave your own solar system without help. The speaker gestured to a large screen that appeared in the air. It showed images of Earth's military, tanks, jets, and ships that looked very old compared to the alien technology around them. This is your mighty military, the speaker said. We have been watching you. Our smallest scout ship could destroy your entire fleet. One of our soldiers could defeat 100 of yours. You are nothing. Tae-ho felt anger building in his chest. We may not have your technology, but humans have something else. We have spirit. We have the will to fight for what we believe in. Spirit? The speaker laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Spirit cannot stop plasma cannons. Spirit cannot pierce energy shields. Spirit is what weak creatures talk about when they have nothing else. The other council members began laughing too. The sound filled the chamber like thunder. Tejo stood there feeling very small and very alone. Your spirit will make you good workers, Veltharketh said. The mining colonies always need beings who can work hard in difficult conditions. Your spirit will help you dig for many years. The speaker looked at something on his chair. There is one more thing. You, Li Tejo, are no longer welcome in this chamber. Your diplomatic status is ended. You will leave immediately and not return. Security guards began moving toward the platform. They were large creatures covered in dark armor. Each one was twice the size of a human. Wait, Tejo said, but the guards were already climbing onto the platform. Please, just listen. The human will be escorted to the departure area, Veltharketh announced. Let this be a lesson to all species. The Council's patience has limits. The guards grabbed Tejo by his arms. Their grip was very strong and he could not break free. They began walking him toward the exit. As they dragged him away, Tejo looked back at the Council. You are making a mistake, he called out. Humans are more than you think. You will see. The only thing we will see, the speaker replied, is humans working in our minds. The chamber erupted in more laughter. The guards pulled Tejo through the exit doors and the sound faded away. In the hallway, Tejo stopped struggling. The guards relaxed their grip, but stayed close. He looked around at the alien building one last time. Everything here was designed to show power. The high ceilings, the bright lights, the expensive materials. It was all meant to make other species feel weak. One of the guards, a creature with 6 legs and a face like a lizard, looked down at him. Your ship is waiting at Dock 7, it said in broken English. You will leave now. Tejo nodded. There was nothing else he could do here. He had failed in his mission, and Earth was going to pay the price. As he walked toward his ship, Tejo thought about his home planet. He thought about his wife, Mi-young, and their 2 children. He thought about the millions of people who had trusted him to protect them. Soon, most of them would be taken from their homes and sent to work on alien worlds. The rest would live like prisoners. But as he reached his ship, Tejo remembered something. Before he left Earth, President Park Ji-woo had given him a secret message. If diplomacy fails, the president had said, tell them this. Humans remember everything. At the time, Tejo had not understood what that meant. Now, as he prepared to bring the terrible news back to Earth, he began to wonder if there was more to his mission than he had known. The ship's door closed behind him, and Tejo set course for home. Behind him, the Galactic Council began planning humanity's destruction. Ahead of him waited Earth and whatever secrets it might be hiding. Dr. Choi Min-ho stood in the underground laboratory 3 miles below the surface of the Sahara Desert. The facility was so secret that only 50 people in the world knew it existed. Even most world leaders had never heard of Project Shadowforge. The lab was huge, carved out of solid rock over 20 years. Bright white lights lit up rows of workstations where the best scientists from Earth worked day and night. But the most important work happened in the center of the room, where pieces of alien technology lay on special tables. Min-ho picked up a small device that looked like a crystal cube. It had come from a scout ship that crashed in Siberia 15 years ago. The aliens never knew humans had found it. They thought the ship had been destroyed completely. Dr. Choi, called a voice behind him. He turned to see Colonel Han Ye-jin walking toward him. She was the military engineer in charge of turning scientific discoveries into weapons. Her face was serious as always. Colonel Han, Min-ho replied. The quantum displacement drive is finally working. We ran another test this morning. Ye-jin looked at the crystal cube in his hands. Show me. Min-ho led her to a sealed chamber at the side of the lab. Inside, a small drone sat on a metal platform. It was painted black and looked nothing like human technology. In fact, it looked very much like alien technology. Computer, Begin test sequence 7, Minho said. The drone suddenly became hard to see. It was still there, but it was like looking at it through water. Then it disappeared completely. Where did it go? Yejin asked. Nowhere. Minho smiled. It's still right there. The drive bends light and energy around the object. To any sensor, even alien sensors, it looks like empty space. Yejin's eyes got wide. How long can it stay hidden? As long as the power lasts. And we've learned to make very efficient power sources from their crashed ships. The drone suddenly appeared again, sitting in exactly the same place. This changes everything, Yejin said quietly. If we can hide our ships, we can hide anything, Minho finished. Ships, buildings, entire military bases. The aliens have been watching us for 50 years, but they only see what we want them to see. Yejin was quiet for a moment. How? Many people know about this. Here in the lab, maybe 20. In the whole world, perhaps 100. President Park knows, of course, and Fleet Admiral Yoon. Good. It needs to stay that way. Yejin looked around the lab. What else have you learned from their technology? Minho led her to another workstation. On the table was what looked like a regular metal box. But when he opened it, the inside was full of strange wires and crystals. Communication device, he explained. We found this in the same crashed ship. It took us 10 years to understand how it works. And now? We can listen to their communications, not just the official channels, but the private ones too. Military commands, personal messages, even their entertainment broadcasts. Yejin picked up the device carefully. They have no idea we can do this? None. They think humans are too primitive to understand their technology. That's been our greatest advantage. Minho walked to a computer terminal and typed in a command. Alien voices filled the air, speaking in clicks and whistles. Subtitles appeared on the screen, showing the translation. This is from their military command, Minho explained. They're discussing how to divide up Earth's population, which humans will go to which planets. Yejin listened to the alien voices with growing anger. They're talking about us like we're cattle. Yes, but they're also giving us information. Fleet positions, command structures, defense capabilities, they have no idea we're listening. The colonel walked to a large map on the wall. It showed the local area of the galaxy with hundreds of red dots marking alien positions. All of this information came from listening to their communications? She asked. Most of it. We also have other sources. Minho joined her at the map. Some of it comes from Captain Kang Junseo. The asteroid belt operation? Exactly. While the aliens watch Earth. Captain Kang has been building our real fleet out in the asteroids. They can't see it because of the interference from all the metal and rock. Yejin studied the map more closely. How big is the fleet now? Large enough, and completely invisible to their sensors. Captain Kang has been very clever about it. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Kang Junseo floated in zero gravity inside a massive hidden base. The base was built inside a large asteroid that had been hollowed out over 10 years. From the outside, it looked like any other space rock. Inside, it was a shipyard. Kang pushed off from a wall and drifted toward the main construction bay. Through the large windows, he could see Earth's secret fleet taking shape. The ships were long and sleek, painted flat black to absorb light. They used the alien quantum drives that Dr. Choi had learned to copy. Captain, called Lieutenant Commander Oh Hae-won as she floated up beside him. The weapons tests are complete. Show me the results, Kang replied. Hae-won activated a holographic display that appeared in the air between them. It showed an alien ship, the same type that the Galactic Council used for their military. We tested 3 different weapon types against captured shield technology, she explained. Their shields are very good against energy weapons like lasers and plasma cannons. But not against our weapons? No, sir. Their shields are designed to stop the types of weapons that other aliens use. They never thought about kinetic weapons or nuclear devices. The hologram changed to show a simulation. Human missiles struck the alien ship and passed right through its shields like they weren't there. The ship exploded in a bright flash. There, Shields can't stop physical objects moving at high speed, Haywan continued. And they definitely can't stop nuclear explosions. The radiation and heat go right through their defenses. Kang smiled grimly. So while they think we're primitive because we still use simple weapons, our simple weapons are exactly what can defeat them, Haywan finished. They floated through the base past workers in spacesuits who were putting the finishing touches on the hidden fleet. These weren't just any workers. They were the best engineers and technicians from every country on Earth. They had all volunteered for a mission that officially didn't exist. How many ships do we have now? Kang asked. 237 combat vessels, Haywan replied. Each one invisible to alien sensors and armed with weapons they can't defend against. And the crews? All trained and ready. They've been practicing in simulators for years. Many of them are veterans from Earth's military who officially retired, but really came here. Kang looked out at the fleet again. Each ship represented years of secret work. Thousands of people had risked everything to build this force. If the aliens ever found out what humans were really doing, Earth would be destroyed immediately. There's something else, Captain, Haywan said. We received a message from President Park. Ambassador Lee Tae-ho is returning from the Galactic Council, and the Council has given their final answer. 80% of humanity will be relocated to work planets. The remainder will be put on reservation worlds. Kang was quiet for a long moment. He had known this day would come, but hearing it still made him angry. When do they want to start the relocation? He asked. 30 solar cycles. Their collection fleets are already moving toward Earth. Kang activated his personal communicator. All ships, this is Captain Kang. Prepare for Operation Nemesis. We are moving to final positions. Throughout the asteroid base, alarms began to sound. Not emergency alarms, but the signal that everyone had been waiting for. After years of preparation, it was finally time. Back on Earth, in the underground lab, Dr. Choi Min-ho received the same message. He looked around at his team of scientists. Many of them had worked here for over a decade, giving up normal lives to prepare for this moment. Colonel Han, he said, it's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. Ye-jin nodded. Are you ready? We've been ready for 20 years, Min-ho replied. The question is, are they ready for us? Above them, on the surface of Earth, people went about their daily lives with no idea what was happening below. They didn't know about the hidden labs, the secret fleet, or the invisible weapons pointed at alien worlds. They just knew that their ambassador was coming home with bad news. But in the shadows, in the spaces between the stars that the aliens didn't bother to watch, humanity was preparing to remind the galaxy of something very important. Sometimes the most dangerous enemies are the ones you underestimate. President Park Ji-woo stood at the window of her office looking out at the city of Seoul. In a few hours, she would give the most important speech in human history. Everything depended on making the aliens believe that Earth was giving up. Behind, her defense minister Kim Do-hyun was reading reports on his tablet. The alien surveillance drones are in position, he said. They're watching everything we do. Good, Park replied without turning around. Let them watch. They need to see exactly what we want them to see. The door opened, and Fleet Admiral Yoon Soo-jin entered the room. She looked tired but determined. Madam President, all units are in position for the deception. Our actors are ready. Park finally turned from the window. And our real forces? Hidden and waiting, Soo-jin replied. The aliens have no idea what's coming. Park walked to her desk and picked up a speech she had been writing. This will be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I have to convince 3 billion humans that we're surrendering while secretly preparing to fight back. Only the key people know the truth, Kim assured her. The rest of the government, the military leaders, even most of the cabinet think this is real. It has to look real, Park said. If the aliens suspect we're acting, they'll attack immediately instead of waiting to collect us. On the other side of the galaxy, Intelligence Officer Seo Yoon-ji sat in a small room aboard a space station. To everyone around her, she was Dr. Kim Soo-yeon, a human scientist studying alien biology. She had been playing this role for 5 years. The Space Station was a Galactic Council research facility. Hundreds of alien scientists worked here, and they had grown used to having a few humans around. Humans were considered harmless and not very smart, so the aliens often talked freely in front of them. Yunji was listening to such a conversation now. 3 Zephyrian scientists were discussing the upcoming collection of humans from Earth. Military says it will be simple, one of them was saying. Humans have no real defenses. A few dozen ships should be enough to handle the entire planet. What if they resist? Asked another. With what? Their primitive weapons cannot even scratch our shields. The council speaker was right. They are nothing but weak creatures who make noise. Hyunji kept working at her computer, pretending to study alien plant samples. But she was really recording everything they said. This information would go back to Earth through secret communication channels. Across the station, Agent Nam Ki-wan was having his own conversation. He worked as a maintenance technician, a job that let him go anywhere on the station. The aliens barely noticed him, which was exactly what he wanted. He was currently in the communication center, supposedly fixing a broken panel. But really he was installing a tiny device that would let Earth intercept all messages going to and from the station. "Hey human," called one of the alien technicians. "Are you done yet? We need that panel working." "Almost finished," Ki-wan replied in the broken alien language he pretended to speak. He acted like he was too stupid to understand most of what they said. The alien made an annoyed sound and turned back to its work. Ki-wan finished installing his device and closed the panel. Now Earth would know about any alien military movements before they happened. Back on Earth, President Park was preparing for her speech. The entire world was watching. In living rooms and offices across the planet, people were waiting to hear what their leader would say about the alien ultimatum. Park walked to the podium in the broadcasting room. Cameras from every major news network were pointed at her. She could feel the weight of 3 billion people watching. "My fellow humans," she began, "I speak to you today with the heaviest of hearts. The Galactic Council has given us their final answer. We must accept their terms or face destruction." Around the world, people watched in shock as their president continued. 80% of our population will be relocated to work on alien worlds. The rest will live on reservation planets, under alien supervision. We have no choice but to accept. In homes across Earth, families began crying. Children asked their parents what was happening. Soldiers and police officers wondered if they should fight anyway. "I am ordering all military forces to stand down immediately," Park continued. "Any resistance will only make things worse for our people. We must show the galaxy that humans can be peaceful and cooperative." The speech lasted 20 minutes. When it was over, Park looked directly into the main camera. "To the Galactic Council I say this. Humanity surrenders. We will comply with your demands. Please be merciful to our people." The broadcast ended, and Park walked quickly back to her office. Once the door was closed, she almost collapsed into her chair. "That was the hardest thing I've ever done," she said to Kim and Soo-jin, who had been watching from the side. "You were perfect," Soo-jin replied. "Even I almost believed you were really surrendering." "The surveillance drones recorded everything," Kim added. "The aliens will be convinced that Earth has given up." In space above Earth, alien observation ships were already transmitting Park's speech back to the Galactic Council. Council Speaker Velthar Keth watched the human president surrender and felt satisfied. "Predictable," he said to his advisors. "Humans always choose survival over honor. This proves they are fit only for manual labor." The speaker activated his communicator. "Send the collection fleets. Begin with the major population centers. The humans will not resist." But on Earth, not everyone believed the president's speech. In military bases around the world, soldiers were receiving different orders through secure channels. "Attention all units," came the secret message from Admiral Soo-jin. "Operation Nemesis is now active. All personnel are to follow deception protocols. Make it look like we're surrendering while moving to hidden positions." The deception was incredibly complex. Regular army units were ordered to lay down their weapons and return to base, but secretly their best soldiers were slipping away to join hidden forces that officially didn't exist. Air Force pilots were grounding their planes and acting defeated, but the pilots themselves were being taken to secret locations where Earth's real aircraft were waiting. Navy ships were returning to port with their weapons powered down, but their crews were being transported to the asteroid belt, where Captain Kang's hidden fleet was waiting. To the watching aliens, it looked like Earth's military was collapsing completely. They had no idea that humanity's real army was just getting started. Meanwhile, Ambassador Lee Tae-ho was playing his own role in the deception. He appeared on alien news broadcasts, denouncing his own species. "Humans are a failed race," he said, looking ashamed and defeated. "We cannot compete with the advanced civilizations of the galaxy. Perhaps it is better if we serve others who are wiser than us." The aliens loved hearing this. It confirmed everything they believed about humans. They played Tae-ho's words across their news networks as proof that even humans knew they were inferior. But in private, Tae-ho was sending coded messages back to Earth. Using communication methods that Dr. Choi had developed, he reported on alien fleet movements and military preparations. "Collection Fleet Alpha is moving toward Earth from the Rigel sector," he reported. "Estimated arrival in 25 days. They are bringing harvesting equipment for mass population transfer." Dr. Ryu So-young, the xenobiologist who was really a spy, was gathering her own intelligence. She had been stationed on Velkari Prime, the home world of the Council Speaker's species. "The Velkari are treating this like a celebration," she reported. "They think defeating humanity will prove their superiority to the other Council races. Their military is completely unprepared for real resistance." All of this information flowed back to Earth through secret networks that the aliens couldn't detect. While the galaxy celebrated humanity's surrender, Earth was learning everything it needed to know about its enemies. Intelligence officer Seo Yoon-ji discovered something especially important. The Council races had grown soft over centuries of easy victories. They hadn't fought a real war in over 200 years. Their soldiers were used to fighting primitive species who gave up quickly. "They have no idea how to handle an enemy that fights back," she reported. "Their entire military doctrine is based on intimidation and superior technology. They've never faced tactics like humans use." As the alien collection fleets moved toward Earth, humanity continued its greatest deception. On the surface, 3 billion humans appeared to be preparing for slavery. Underground in hidden bases and secret facilities, the same humans were preparing for war. The aliens saw what they expected to see: a weak species accepting defeat. They had no idea they were walking into the most carefully planned trap in galactic history. President Park stood at her window again, watching the sun set over Seoul. In a few weeks, alien ships would arrive expecting to find a broken, defeated world. Instead, they would discover that humans had been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment for 50 years. The galaxy was about to learn something new about the species they thought they understood. Sometimes the most dangerous trap is the one that looks like surrender. The alien collection fleet approached Earth's solar system like predators coming to claim easy prey. Commander Zekval of the Velkari Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small blue planet grow larger on his screens. "Status. Report," he ordered his crew. "All systems normal, Commander," replied his tactical officer. "The human planet shows no defensive activity. Their military appears to be completely shut down." Zekval smiled with satisfaction. "Just as the Council predicted, humans are cowards who submit when faced with real power." Behind him, Communications Officer Nalteth looked up from her station. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human planet." "Put it on the main screen." President Park Ji-woo appeared on the screen looking tired and defeated. "Velkari Commander, this is Earth's President. We are ready to comply with the Council's demands. Please be gentle with our people during the relocation process." "Your cooperation is noted, human," Zekval replied coldly. "Prepare your major cities for collection. We will begin with your largest population centers." "Understood. We will not resist." The transmission ended. Around the bridge, alien crew members made sounds of amusement. "Too easy," muttered the tactical officer. "I almost feel sorry for them." But Zekval felt only contempt. Weak species deserve their fate. Begin landing operations. What the aliens didn't know was that Admiral Yoon Soo-jin was watching them from her secret command center, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Hidden sensors tracked every alien ship as it entered the solar system. All units, this is Admiral Soo-jin. She spoke into her communicator. The enemy has taken the bait. Begin Operation Nemesis. Throughout the solar system, humanity's real military began to move. Ships that had been hiding in the asteroid belt powered up their quantum displacement drives and became invisible. Ground forces emerged from underground bases that the aliens had never detected. Captain Kang Jun-seo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the hidden vessel now moving toward the alien fleet. Around his ship, 236 other human vessels moved through space like ghosts. All ships report ready, announced Lieutenant Commander Oh Hae-won. Target acquisition is complete. Very good, Kang replied. Remember, we hit every alien military target simultaneously. They must not have time to send a warning back to the Council. In the asteroid belt, more human ships were emerging from hidden bases. These weren't the sleek warships of the main fleet. These were massive vessels that looked like mobile factories. They had been built for one purpose, carrying the most devastating weapons humanity had ever created. General Im Hyun-woo led the ground assault teams. His soldiers had been training in secret for years, learning to use captured alien technology against its creators. They wore armor that was invisible to alien sensors and carried weapons that could punch through any defense the Council races had. Ground teams are in position around all major alien landing sites, he reported to Admiral Soo-jin. The moment they leave their ships, we'll be waiting for them. Communications specialist Baek Soo-min was ready with humanity's secret weapon, the hijacked alien communication networks. For years, humans had been secretly tapping into every major alien broadcast system. Now they would use those systems to coordinate their attack and deliver Earth's message to the galaxy. All alien communication channels are under our control, she reported. When you give the signal, Admiral, the entire galaxy will hear what we have to say. Back in space, the alien fleet was spreading out to begin collection operations. Commander, Zekval was dividing his forces to hit multiple Earth cities at once. He had no idea that human ships were already surrounding his vessels. Begin descent to the planet's surface, he ordered. Remember, we want the humans alive and healthy for work assignments. The alien ships began moving toward Earth. As they did, Captain Kang gave the order that would change galactic history forever. All ships fire. Suddenly, space around Earth erupted in violence. Human ships appeared out of nowhere, their weapons blazing. The aliens had been expecting an easy collection mission. Instead, they found themselves in a deadly battle. The first alien ship to die was a transport vessel approaching New York. It never saw the human destroyer that materialized beside it and fired a full spread of nuclear missiles. The alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, were useless against the physical projectiles. The transport exploded in a ball of fire. Commander Zekval watched in horror as his fleet came under attack from enemies that shouldn't exist. Where did they come from? He shouted. Humans don't have ships like this. His tactical officer was frantically working at his station. Sir, I'm detecting over 200 human vessels. They're using some kind of stealth technology we've never seen before. Impossible. Our intelligence reports showed humans had no advanced technology. Another alien ship exploded on the screen. Then another. The human weapons were cutting through the alien fleet like it was made of paper. Commander, called the communications officer. I'm receiving reports from other collection fleets throughout the galaxy. They're all under attack. Zekval felt his blood turn cold. What do you mean, all of them? Human ships have appeared at every council world simultaneously. They're attacking our home planets, our military bases, our government centers. It's a coordinated assault across the entire galaxy. On Earth, General Im's ground forces were moving into action. As alien soldiers left their ships to begin collecting humans, they found themselves facing an enemy that fought nothing like their intelligence reports had suggested. The first alien patrol to land in London was met by soldiers wearing adaptive camouflage that made them nearly invisible. The aliens, used to fighting primitive species with simple weapons, had no idea how to handle human military tactics. "Contact! Contact!" the alien patrol leader shouted into his communicator. "We are under attack by shadows. We cannot see them." Human soldiers moved like ghosts through the battlefield, using stealth technology copied from alien ships. They struck hard and fast, then disappeared before the aliens could respond. The battle for London was over in 20 minutes. Every alien in the landing force was dead or captured. The humans had suffered no casualties. Similar scenes were playing out across Earth. In Tokyo, alien soldiers were trapped in underground tunnels by human forces who knew the city better than any outsider could. In Paris, alien commanders found their communication systems jammed by technology they didn't recognize. But the real shock was happening in space. Captain Kang's fleet was systematically destroying alien ships with weapons the Council had never imagined humans could possess. Lieutenant Commander Oh Hae-won watched her tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Primary alien fleet is down to 60% strength," she reported. "Their flagship is trying to retreat." "Don't let it escape," Kang ordered. "We can't have any survivors reporting back to the Council." 2 human destroyers moved to intercept Commander Zekval's flagship. The alien ship tried to fight back, but its weapons were designed for battles against other energy-using species. Against human kinetic weapons and nuclear warheads, they were almost useless. "Shield strength at 40% and falling," reported Zekval's tactical officer. "These weapons are passing right through our defenses." "How is this possible?" Zekval demanded. "Humans are primitive. They don't have technology like this." His answer came from communications specialist Baek Sumin, whose team had taken control of the alien ship's communication systems. Her voice echoed through the bridge as she spoke in perfect Velkari. "Commander Zekval, this is Earth Command. You made a mistake. You assumed we were weak because we let you think we were weak." The alien commander stared at his communication panel in shock. "Who is this? How are you speaking our language?" "We are the species you tried to enslave," Beck continued. "We have been watching you, learning from you, and preparing for you for 50 years. Did you really think we would make it easy for you?" On screens throughout the bridge, images began appearing. Human ships attacking alien worlds. Human soldiers capturing council leaders. Human technology that was clearly more advanced than anything the council possessed. "This is impossible," Zekval whispered. "Our intelligence reports showed you exactly what we wanted you to see," Baek replied. "While you were watching our fake military, we were building our real one. While you were laughing at our primitive technology, we were turning your own weapons against you." The alien flagship shuddered as more human weapons struck its hull. The shields were failing, and the ship was starting to lose structural integrity. "Commander," his tactical officer called out, "the humans are demanding our surrender." Zekval looked around his bridge. Half his crew was injured or dead. His ship was dying around him. The collection mission had become a disaster beyond his worst nightmares. "This is Commander Zekval," he said into his communicator. I surrender." Throughout the solar system, the same scene was playing out. Alien ships were surrendering, being destroyed, or fleeing in panic. The mighty Galactic Council fleet that had come to collect human slaves was being completely defeated by the species they had thought was weak. Admiral Su Jin received reports from battle zones across the galaxy. Human forces were winning everywhere. In less than 6 hours, the Great Council chamber had never been so quiet. Where once thousands of alien beings had filled the seats with confident chatter, now only a few hundred remained. Many were injured. Others were prisoners brought here under human guard. Council, Speaker Velthar Keth sat in his high chair, but he was no longer in control. His forearms were bound with restraints made from his own ship's metal. Special Forces Commander John Mireille stood beside him, her weapon ready in case he tried to escape. The chamber's main screen showed images that no one had thought possible just days before. Human ships orbiting alien worlds. Human soldiers walking through the halls of council buildings. Human technology that was clearly more advanced than anything the galaxy's greatest minds had created. How? Veltharketh asked quietly. How did we not see this coming? Mireille looked down at the fallen council speaker. Because you didn't want to see it. You were so sure humans were weak that you never looked for signs of strength. Around the chamber, representatives from dozens of alien species watched in shock as President Park Ji-woo entered the room. She walked calmly to the center platform where Lee Tae-ho had once stood in humiliation, but everything was different now. Behind her walked Dr. Kim Tae-yeon, Earth's leading expert on alien psychology. She carried a datapad filled with detailed studies of every species in the council, information that would have been impossible to gather without years of careful observation. Members of the former Galactic Council, President Park began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. I stand before you today not as a supplicant, but as the leader of the most powerful military force in this galaxy. Angry sounds came from some of the alien representatives. A few tried to speak, but human soldiers moved forward and they fell silent. Silence, Park continued. For 50 years, you demanded that humanity be silent while you decided our fate. Now you will. Listen while we decide yours. Dr. Kim stepped forward and activated her datapad, the main screen filled with psychological profiles, military assessments, and detailed analyses of alien behavior patterns. We know everything about you, she announced. Your military capabilities, your economic systems, your social structures, your individual psychology. We have been studying you since the day we met you. She pointed to a section of the chamber where Zephyrian representatives sat. The Zephyrians value intellectual superiority above all else. They believe that advanced technology makes them better than other species, but their technology is specialized for fighting other energy weapon users. Against kinetic weapons, they are helpless. The Zephyrian ambassador started to object, but Dr. Kim continued without pause. The Corvan Empire builds their entire culture around military strength, but they haven't fought a real war in 2 centuries. Their soldiers are trained for ceremonies and intimidation, not actual combat. When faced with human military tactics, they collapse quickly. More angry sounds came from the audience, but the human soldiers' presence kept everyone in their seats. The Velkari, Dr. Kim looked directly at the bound council speaker, are the worst of all. They believe that being older as a species makes them wiser. But age without growth leads to stagnation. You became so convinced of your own superiority that you stopped learning anything new. President Park stepped forward again. Every species in this chamber made the same mistake. You assumed that primitive technology meant primitive thinking. You were wrong. She gestured to the screens around the chamber, which now showed Earth's hidden facilities. The underground laboratories, the asteroid shipyards, the secret military bases that had been operating for decades. While you watched our surface and laughed at our simple weapons, we were building something you never imagined. We were preparing for the day you would try to destroy us. Ambassador Lee Tae-ho entered the chamber and walked to stand beside President Park. The last time he had been here, he had been dragged out in disgrace. Now he carried himself like a representative of a major power. Honored Speaker, he said, to Veltharketh, you once asked me what humans could contribute to the galaxy. Today I have your answer. The screens changed again, showing recordings of the recent battles. Human ships defeating alien fleets. Human soldiers capturing alien bases. Human technology overwhelming alien defenses. We contribute the lesson that you should never underestimate an unknown enemy. Tae-ho continued. We contribute the knowledge that intelligence matters more than advanced technology. Most importantly, we contribute the understanding that cooperation works better than domination. President Park activated a personal communicator. Admiral Soo-jin, report on current military status. The Admiral's voice came through speakers throughout the chamber. Madam President, all major council military assets have been captured or destroyed. Casualty reports show that we have eliminated approximately 70% of their combat capability, while suffering minimal losses ourselves. Gasps and cries of dismay came from the alien representatives. They had known the attacks were successful, but hearing the full scope of their defeat was still shocking. Fleet Captain Kang reports that all major council worlds are now under human control. The Admiral continued. Their governments are intact but operating under our supervision. No civilian populations have been harmed. Thank you, Admiral, Park replied, then turned back to the chamber. As you can hear, the military phase of this operation is complete. Now we must decide what comes next. Dr. Kim stepped forward with another display. This one showed a map of the galaxy with new boundary lines and organizational structures. The old Galactic Council is finished, she announced. It will be replaced by a new system based on mutual respect rather than species dominance. No single species will have the power to enslave others. The map showed Earth at the center of a new network of alliances and treaties. Other species were arranged around it in a complex web of relationships that prevented any one group from becoming too powerful. The new Galactic Accords will guarantee the rights of all sentient species, President Park explained, including the right to exist free from slavery, the right to defend themselves, and the right to determine their own future. Velthar Keth finally found his voice. You cannot do this. The natural order of the galaxy. The natural order, Park interrupted, is that the strong protect the weak, not that the strong exploit the weak. You forgot this basic principle, so we had to remind you. She walked closer to the bound council speaker. You called humans weak and primitive. But we defeated your entire military in less than a day using weapons you thought were obsolete and tactics you didn't understand. You used deception, Velthar accused. You lied to us. We used strategy, Park replied calmly. We let you see what you wanted to see while preparing for what we knew would come. That's not lying, that's intelligent planning. Dr. Kim activated another display showing detailed files on every council species. We spent 50 years learning everything we could about you. Your languages, your customs, your military doctrine, your psychological weaknesses. You spent the same 50 years learning nothing about us except what we wanted you to learn. The chamber was filled with the sound of quiet conversations as alien representatives began to understand the full scope of what had happened to them. Communications specialist Baik Suman's voice came through the speakers. Madam President, we're receiving surrender offers from 17 additional council member species. They're requesting terms for joining the new Galactic Accords. Accept their requests, Park replied, but make it clear that membership in the new system requires adherence to the principles of mutual respect and species sovereignty. She looked around the chamber at the defeated alien representatives. Many of them looked angry. Others looked confused. A few looked relieved that the old system was finally ending. I want to be very clear about something, Park said, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. This was not revenge. This was justice. For 50 years, you treated humans like animals to be used and discarded. Today, you learned that we are neither animals nor victims. Ambassador Tejo stepped forward. The human species makes this offer to every intelligent race in the galaxy. Join us as equals in building a better future, or continue to follow the path of domination and face the consequences. He paused and looked directly at Velthar Keith. The choice is yours. But understand that the galaxy has changed. The time when powerful species could abuse weaker ones is over. President Park activated her communicator one final time. Admiral Sujin, begin implementing the new Galactic Accords. All species that accept the terms will have their sovereignty restored and their security guaranteed. Any species that refuses will be dealt with accordingly. Admiral Sujin's voice finished. The president looked around the chamber one last time. The meeting is adjourned. Representatives who wish to discuss joining the new galactic order may remain. Those who prefer the old ways of domination and slavery are free to leave. As the human delegation prepared to exit the chamber, Velthar Keth called out one final question. What gives you the right to remake the galaxy according to your will? President Park stopped and turned back to him. The same thing that gave you the right 50 years ago. Power. The difference is that we will use our power to protect others rather than to exploit them.